Venceremos. We will win. My name is Pita de Aztlán. I want to talk to you today about Amnesty in Aztlán. Recently, the U.S. Senate passed an immigration bill, and it's flawed. It will not work, and in general, La Raza here in the USA, we're not really involved in the whole process of it as we should have. It will not work without our participation. The term La Raza, if you're a gringo, means the race. People who are of Mexican ancestry, Latin American ancestry, Chicanos here in the USA, what you would call Latinos. So, right now, we have a situation where we have like 53 million, I'll use the term Latinos, 53 million Latinos in the USA. We're about 17% of the population, and we're talking about roughly 11 million non-citizens here who are from other countries besides the USA. Keep in mind that the U.S. Southwest was once Mexico, and when you look at the big picture, the historical record, all these lands we call the USA once belonged to the original people, indigenous people. Before the Mexicans, before the Americans, before the Spaniards, this was all called our land. I'm a Chicano de Aztlán, born in the USA. My ancestry on my dad's side is Chiricahua Apache and Sonoran Yaqui. So I am indigenous, I am native to Aztlán. I fight for and advocate for global liberation so that we put an end to the domination of the evil empire, and we share the natural resources of Mother Earth. We belong to the earth. The earth does not belong to us. The earth is endangered. We as a species are endangered. After the revolution, there won't be any borders. Let that sink in. What you consider reality now may not accurately reflect connected reality. For example, if you're a U.S. citizen, you may consider yourself living in a democracy. But wait, doesn't that mean majority rule? does the majority really, actually, existentially control this country? Answer that and you'll figure out if we really have a democracy or not. So, we look at the USA, or I look at the USA as an internal colony of the evil empire. I don't call it strictly American empire or U.S. empire because it's global. You know, there are corporate ruling circles who control the world's economy, dominate the world's economy. So, if you're just looking at your little neck of the woods and not seeing the big picture, then you're really not seeing connected reality. So, I'm looking at, for those whose ancestors are from these lands, who are in this land, the 11 plus million people who are not legal U.S. citizens, the simplest way is to give them amnesty, with no strings attached. Then we can find out who they are, where they are, do an accurate U.S. census, and start over. Especially for those whose ancestors are from North America. Otherwise, it's not going to work. There's just too many, and they can't be tracked down. There ain't going to be no getting in the back of the line when we've been here for centuries. When the USA was stolen under the threat of violence by the U.S. government. Study your history. So now, Emperor Obama's part of his package deal is the militarization of the U.S.-Mexican border. It costs billions. We got homeless families in the streets of the USA, and we're spending just billions of dollars. Or the U.S., I'm not spending I don't got $1 billion. But the U.S. government, in the name of the American people, is spending billions, waging war in foreign countries, creating more and more enemies for the American people, and the American people really need to wake up. I see big problems in the future, and a lot of it has to do with U.S. citizens not really comprehending their role, their strategic role and position in the global landscape. So, in relation to Mexicans who are here in the USA, we should just give them amnesty. That or the possibility of dual citizenship. You got citizenship in Mexico and in the USA. And I'm speaking to La Raza here, not just white folks. Chicanos, Latinos, especially Chicanos, so-called Mexican Americans, so-called Hispanics, better start waking up. this whole situation can easily get out of hand real quick. You know, a brutal murder on the border, a drone mistake, you know, stuff happens. So if there's any remnants of the Chicano movement, you know, we need to really start waking up ourselves more, waking up others, and expressing ourselves, you know, through social media, videos, blogs, Twitter, Facebook, even though it's the CIA front. But then NSA, you know, controls the whole information flow, and in terms of reality now on the internet, you know, thanks to Snowden helped to our brother comrade Snowden helped to make us more aware, but some of us already knew that we were being monitored. You know, we're living under a fascist surveillance state, and though we want to exhaust all legal, peaceful means and methods of struggle, you know, chances are this whole situation can spin out of control. And you know, just be aware. You know, I saw today how, you know, the FBI has drones. FBI has drones. Who knew that? You know, that the FBI, you know, there was some suspicion about them targeting Occupy protesters. You know, when Occupy was blooming, you know, Houston, Occupy Houston. So there's a lot going on in the world, and the last thing we need is a race war, or internal war within the continental United States. If you remember, Mexico is the only country that ever attacked the United States before 9/11. And we're not sure where 9/11 came from. There's been no thorough 9/11 investigation. We're not even talking about the Kennedy assassination. You know, so it's all connected. Even though this might seem like spinning around there, this is all connected. You know, it's connected to where I am here now in Sacramento, California, Aztlán, and it's connected to you, whether you're a U.S. citizen or not. It's connected with the urgency of Chicano leadership having the courage to speak out against fascist control of the country. The country's gone fascist. It laid its foundation during the Roosevelt administration. Study history so we can clearly understand the present. So I'm just sharing this with you here, and I advocate amnesty. I'm not speaking for anyone else, any organization. I'm not financed by the Chinese Communist Party or the Politburo or the Taliban. This is just me, one crazy Chicano in a very insane, sick society. And in my culture, being crazy has positive attributes, where we're going to think outside the box. We're going to connect the dots. So I want you to share this with others, give me feedback, and I strive to be humble. I don't have all the answers, neither do you. I'm just saying what I think is the way I want it, the way I see it. Knowing that I could be wrong about some stuff, I could be right about other stuff, and we want to resolve our differences through dialogue, through honest dialogue, through communication, through sharing our ideas, and we want to exhaust all legal, peaceful methods of struggle. We want to have, ideally, a peaceful global revolution. But there's going to be one. With you or without you. I guarantee it. Look at the world. Beware of the global news. Stop getting fixated on regular TV shows. Your regular news. Look at alternative news. Democracy Now! There's some other ones. And do what you can to get other people online. Learn more about the history of Mexico. The history of Chicanos. The history of the United States. And I'll leave links in the bottom here, for further research and study. And I just want to leave you with, with the feeling that we're all one family. Black, brown, yellow, white, purple, rainbow, polka dot. We're all one family. Sometimes we have feuds called wars. So let's try to love one another in a real way. I don't mean phony love. Just love each other as one family. Share this with others as you can. Please leave comments below here, and try to make the comments sensible. Not stupid and hateful and evil. Aren't you tired of evil? Aren't you tired of hatred? Aren't you tired of racism? We have to comprehend and admit that ultimately there is only one race of people on planet Earth. That is the human race. It is divided by a cultural, social factor called racism, where we think, black, brown, yellow, white, and in connected reality, it's not all that simple math. We're talking about calculus here. So, if we do not handle our situation here in the USA, I see grave consequences. There was so much division. The United States is not truly united as one people. And we're divided in so many different categories that if we do not handle our social contradictions in a non-antagonistic, peaceful way, this could mushroom out of control. It really could. It's not a matter of just remembering the Watts riot, but there's been a lot of racial tensions going on, and there are some things that are brewing right now that you may not be fully aware of. And often, see, the nature of contradiction is that as they're developing, they simmer and they brew until they reach a nodal point. They're grown, they reach a nodal point, and then it expands into phenomena that we can observe. So we could look at white people. White people are not strictly white people. Many white people are not going to band together as white supremacists against non-white people. Black people are not one people. Many of them are African Americans, are want to be whites, and they're not going to go for a race war. La raza, or Latinos, may be the most diverse, complex people we have in the USA. And actually, they're a very conservative people. They're not prone towards radicalism. But remember Mexicans. Mexicans don't riot. They wage revolution. So if we don't handle our social contradictions in a non-antagonistic way, in a peaceful way, these contradictions can become antagonistic, hostile, violent. And I hate violence, because usually it's the innocents who get hurt, in the collateral damage. So we need to continue to search deep within our heart and let a true love come out, a true love for people. We're basically the same. We basically have the same basic survival needs. We basically have the same desires for living in peace and harmony, being able to raise our families, being able to do our music, do our art, to contribute it to a creative society. The world is undergoing major transformations, paradigm shifts, and we need not to fear change, but to see how we can monitor it, how we can direct it and influence it. Not control, but creative expression. So keep in mind that I'm just sharing this. I don't have all the answers. I believe that one form or another of amnesty is needed. U.S. Congress people alone cannot do it. We need to get the input of all people, who are non-U.S. citizens, people from Africa, people from the Middle East, people from Asia. You know, we got growing populations here. You know, and we can't have really comprehensive humane immigration legislation unless those who are impacted by it are fully involved. You know, we want to hear from the fanatics, the reactionaries, you know, the racists. We want to hear from them too. They may have valid points that need to be considered in the whole calculus of what's going on here. You know, don't just go by those that agree with you. You know, just we got to air out our differences, air out our grievances, and have in mind ultimately the unity of humanity. You know, this is a complex issue. You know, we can look at other countries and how they've handled it. You know, there are answers out there around us that we can find if we sincerely have a desire to find those answers. So that's my spin for now, and I hope you take time to consider this video and share it with others. You know, I do not even believe in copyright laws and stuff like that. That's insane. Whatever comes out on the internet is up for grabs. So we just need to really focus on humane immigration legislation, and those who are impacted by that, they need to be a part of that whole analytical process that results in good legislation. You know, already the U.S. Senate, the day they passed it, you know, Boner or Bummer said that you know, it's going to go into the House of Representatives, and it's going to be changed, and you know, the focus is on border security, you know, when it should be on people's needs. You know, don't fall for the hype about national security. That's code for the security of the empire, the security for those who control the global economy. You know, the security of the corporate ruling class. So don't let others divide us as a people more than we are. You know, seek unity, you know, as one family of humanity. And forgive me if I sound corny. You know, I go back to the Mayans, so I'm of the corn people. Namaste.